What if I told you that everything you know about learning is wrong? The average person spends thousands of hours studying, only to forget 80% of what they learn within weeks. But what separates the extraordinary from the average isn't IQ or talent. It's strategy. Look around at the top performers in any field. The chess grandmasters, the polyglots who speak 10 languages, the people who can process complex information in minutes, not hours. They're not smarter than you. They just know something you don't. They've cracked the code on how the human brain actually works. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 brain hacks that will literally rewire your neural pathways and make you learn 10 times faster than everyone else. These aren't just tips. They're psychological triggers that activate parts of your brain most people never access. The difference between struggling for years to master something and absorbing it almost effortlessly in weeks. I've spent over a decade studying the science of accelerated learning, testing these methods, refining them, and now I'm sharing them with you, ready to unlock your hidden potential. Let's dive in. Brain hack number 1, the 85-15 principle. Ever wonder why some people can read something once and remember it forever, while you're still reviewing the same material for the 10th time? Here's what they know that you don't. Your brain wasn't designed to absorb information passively. The 85-15 principle states that you should spend only 15% of your time consuming information and 85% actively engaging with it. Think about it. When was the last time you really remembered something you just read or watched? Probably rarely, if ever. But when you teach a concept to someone else, when you argue about it, when you apply it to your own life, suddenly it sticks. This is because active recall physically strengthens neural connections in your brain. It's not metaphorical. You're literally creating biological pathways that didn't exist before. Let me break down what this means practically. Most people read a book and highlight passages. They watch videos passively, they listen to lectures and take notes verbatim, and they mistake this for learning. But here's the truth. Your brain doesn't care what you highlight. It cares what you struggle to retrieve. So instead of highlighting that textbook for hours, try this. Read a section once, close the book, write down everything you remember, then teach it to an imaginary student. Notice the gaps in your understanding, the places where you stumble. That's where the real learning happens. Feel uncomfortable? Good. That mental strain, that slight resistance you feel, is literally your brain building new pathways. That discomfort is growth. I see this all the time with my students. The ones who embrace active recall improve 300% faster than those who don't. And when you embrace that discomfort instead of avoiding it, your learning speed doesn't just improve incrementally, it explodes. Brain hack number 2, the spacing effect. The second hack exploits a glitch in your brain's memory system. Most people cram information in marathon sessions, feeling productive because they're putting in hours. But your brain doesn't work that way. Studies show that spacing your learning into shorter sessions with specific time intervals between them increases retention by up to 200%. This is called the spacing effect. When you review information right at the moment you're about to forget it, your brain gets a signal. This is important. I need to store this deeper. Each time you do this, the memory moves from your short-term storage into your long-term knowledge base. So instead of studying for 5 hours straight, break it into 5 30-minute sessions over 5 days. But here's where most people mess up. The intervals between sessions shouldn't be random. They should follow a specific expanding pattern. Review after 1 day, then 3 days, then 7 days, then 14. This isn't just theory, this is neuroscience. Your brain physically consolidates memories during sleep. Each night, it decides what to keep and what to throw away. By spacing your learning, you're telling your brain, this matters, keep this, and it listens. Brain hack number 3, contextual anchoring. Your environment shapes how you learn more than you realize. Your brain forms associations between what you're learning and where you're learning it. This is why you can suddenly remember something when you go back to the place where you first learned it. But most people study in the same boring environment every day and wonder why nothing sticks. Let me tell you about an experiment I did years ago. I was struggling to learn complex programming concepts. No matter how many times I reviewed them, they wouldn't stick. Then I tried something different. I assigned each major programming language to a different location. Python in the living room, JavaScript at my desk, C++ at the coffee shop down the street. Within weeks, my retention doubled, then tripled. Here's the hack. Create distinct learning environments for different subjects. Study math in a specific corner of your room. Learn languages in the kitchen. Review history outside. Your brain will anchor each subject to its unique context. But don't stop there. Add sensory elements, a specific candle scent for chemistry, a particular playlist for economics, even a certain posture or way of sitting for physics. The more distinctive the environment, the stronger the memory. When test time comes, mentally return to these environments. Close your eyes for just a second and visualize that space. The memories will flood back. I've seen students go from C's to A's using just this technique alone. This isn't mystical. It's proven neuroscience. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory formation, creates stronger connections when you leverage multiple sensory inputs. Think about it this way. You're giving your brain GPS coordinates for where each piece of knowledge is stored. The average person tries to force information into their brain through repetition alone. You're not average. Use your environment as a tool to encode knowledge deeper than repetition ever could. Brain hack number 4, the protégé effect. You want to know the fastest way to master any subject. Commit to teaching it to someone else. When you position yourself as the explainer rather than just the learner, your brain processes information differently. This is called the protégé effect. Research shows that simply expecting to teach material increases your retention by up to 300%. Why? Because teaching forces you to organize information logically, identify the core principles, anticipate questions, find simple analogies for complex ideas. These are exactly the mental processes that transform surface knowledge into deep understanding. So even if you don't have someone to teach, pretend you do. Record yourself explaining concepts as if you're creating a tutorial. Write a guide for beginners. Join online forums and answer questions. Your goal isn't just to learn the material. It's to become the person who could write the book on it. When I started doing this, my comprehension didn't just improve slightly, it transformed completely. What once took me weeks to learn now took days, sometimes hours. The protégé effect doesn't just help you learn faster, it changes how your brain categorizes information, from stuff I read to wisdom I own. And that's a game changer. Brain hack number 5, state-dependent learning. The final hack is something elite performers have used for centuries, but modern science is only beginning to understand. Your physical and emotional state dramatically affects how your brain processes information. This is called state-dependent learning. When you learn something in a specific mental state, that information becomes tied to that state. Recall improves when you return to the same state. Let me explain why this matters so much. Your brain doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's influenced by your biochemistry, your stress hormones, your neurotransmitters, your heart rate, even your posture. Think about it. Have you ever blanked during a test, despite knowing the material cold the night before? That's because your calm, focused state while studying was completely different from your anxious state during the test. Most people ignore this completely. They study while stressed, distracted, or tired, and wonder why nothing sticks. They'll drink 3 coffees while cramming, then take the test in a completely different biochemical state. Instead, try this. Before any intense learning session, spend 5 minutes creating an optimal state. Control your breathing. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Straighten your posture. Listen to instrumental music at 60 beats per minute. Hydrate properly. Set a clear intention for what you'll learn. This ritual isn't just about focus. It's about creating a distinctive neurological pattern that you can recreate later. This doesn't just feel better. It chemically prepares your brain to form stronger memories. I once worked with a medical student who went from failing his exams to scoring in the top 10% using nothing but state management techniques. The best part, you can trigger this state on demand, before tests, presentations, or whenever you need to access what you've learned. Practice getting into this state daily. Treat it like a muscle that strengthens with use. Your mental state isn't just about focus, it's a filing system for your knowledge. Elite athletes understand this. Top performers in every field understand this. And now, so do you. Master your state, and you master your mind. Look around you. Everyone else is still learning the old way, highlighting textbooks, rereading notes, cramming before tests, and getting mediocre results. But now you know what they don't. These 5 hacks aren't just techniques. They're a fundamental reimagining of how your brain absorbs and retains information. Let me show you how powerful this can be when you combine all 5. Imagine you're learning something challenging, maybe a new programming language or complex scientific theory. Instead of the typical approach, you spend just 15% of your time reading about it and 85% explaining it, questioning it, applying it. Break your study sessions into optimal intervals. Maybe 30 minutes today, 30 minutes in 3 days, 20 minutes next week. Create a dedicated space with specific sensory triggers that your brain associates only with this subject. Commit to teaching what you learn to someone else, forcing complete mastery. Enter a specific, optimized mental state before each learning session. This isn't just a slight improvement on traditional methods, it's a complete paradigm shift. When you implement the 85-15 principle, space your learning, anchor it contextually, embrace the protégé effect, and master state-dependent learning. You don't just learn faster, you learn differently. You build knowledge that sticks, understanding that deepens, and wisdom that compounds. I've seen people transform their lives with these techniques. Students who went from academic probation to honor roll. Professionals who mastered new skills in weeks instead of years. I remember working with someone who had failed the bar exam twice. After implementing these 5 hacks, he not only passed, he scored in the 94th percentile. This isn't about becoming a better student. It's about rewiring your brain to process information at a level most people will never experience. The question isn't whether these hacks work. The science is clear. The question is, will you use them? Will you break free from the outdated learning methods that have held you back? Because the person who applies even one of these principles consistently doesn't just gain an advantage. They enter a different league entirely. Start today. Pick one hack. Apply it to something you're learning right now. And watch as your capacity expands beyond what you thought possible. Your potential has always been there. These hacks are simply the key that unlocks it. The true power of your mind is waiting. It's time to claim it.